Sorry, we have a kind of weak connection here in Rome, so I hope it doesn't cut out again, but I apologize. As I was saying, I mean, Hillary Clinton is a Yale-trained lawyer who's had 46 years experience in politics. She's by definition going to be more glib than Donald Trump, and she is by definition going to be better at using words in a fancy way. Trump, on the other hand, has spent a lifetime in business actually getting things done, creating jobs, building buildings, running hotels, running golf courses. Totally different experience background. So he's naturally more rough and tumble, less glib, less elegant. She's naturally better with words. The argument really is over whether her deeds live up to her words. And the question with Trump is whether he can continue to learn to be more and more effective and more disciplined and more the kind of leader that we want. So now let's go back to the vice presidential debate. Kaine, I thought, had three really big problems. First, he had the problem of trying to defend Hillary Clinton's positions. Second, he had the problem of trying to defend the left's positions. And third, he knew that he had to clutter Pence, that if he allowed Pence to have lots of free running room, that Pence was going to do very well. So he tried to affect the third one by breaking in all the time. And that was really an effort to disrupt Pence, to keep Pence off balance, to force Pence away from coherent answers. Because the Clinton campaign strategy, as I wrote in a recent newsletter in which I talked about the gutter campaign, the Clinton campaign strategy is to go totally at Trump as a person, not debate big issues, not take on the big questions that challenge America, but to really run a mean-spirited, down in the gutter kind of campaign, and to do so with dishonesty, absolute dishonesty. And of course to have the help of the New York Times and other elite media on their side while they're doing it. So he was part of the same thing. He was throwing the same dishonesty, the same lies that the New York Times and the Clinton campaign have focused on. Second, Hillary's indefensible. How do you explain 33,000 missing emails? How do you explain more and more evidence coming out every day about how the senior staff used the State Department to pay off people who were giving money to the Clinton Foundation? How do you explain how badly the Clinton Foundation went right at the people of Haiti? At one point, the Secretary of State opposed, the State Department under her, opposed raising the Haitian minimum wage from $3 a day, not an hour, $3 a day, to $5 a day, on behalf of some foreign investors who wanted to exploit Haitians to make big profits. Now, clearly that's something that will come up in the debate, and Trump ought to ask her how can she, with a straight face, particularly looking at the hurricane damage just done to Haiti, how can she not apologize to the people of Haiti for the damage that she and Bill have done to that country, and to the effort that their two brothers, hers and his, made to try to exploit the people of Haiti. And it's extraordinary stuff. So Tim Kaine was faced with this: how do I defend all these different things that are false, dishonest lies? And that posed a huge, huge problem for him. And so I think that's part of why he was off balance, because he knew if he got into telling the truth, he would just drown. And that's part of why you see this effort to clutter the debate. The third part is what's happening to the policies of the left. The left is growing crazy. You may have seen that Duke University, which a friend of mine said may presently be renamed Duchess University, is talking about a program for males to make sure they are retrained to not be too male. You may notice that the state of Massachusetts is passing a law that will punish anyone in public places, including churches, for using the inappropriate pronoun when talking to people. Now, does that mean that they won't be able to say "our Father"? I mean, what kind of madness is this when you start dictating to churches by a local state government on what kind of pronoun you're allowed to use? And so the left is just getting nuttier and nuttier. Can you imagine the kind of judges Hillary Clinton would appoint, given these kind of values? And so you really have a very deep fight underway in this country. The Clinton tax increase program is a disaster. The Trump tax cut program is in the tradition of John F. Kennedy and Reagan. In fact, they ought to call it the Kennedy, Reagan, Trump economic growth plan, because those are the three folks who went that road. We know what happened in 1984 when Walter Mondale promised to raise taxes and Ronald Reagan promised that he wouldn't raise taxes. It turned out to be 49 states for Reagan and 1 state for Mondale. So Hillary's playing right on the edge of disaster. We know that her reset button with the Russians didn't work. It's a disaster. Look what's happening right now, and the confusion that John Kerry has as Secretary of State trying to deal with Putin and with the Russians. Look at the mess in Syria. Look at the mess in Libya. So on the one hand, Tim Kaine can't defend Hillary personally. On the other hand, Tim Kaine can't defend the policies of the left, even though in order to be the vice presidential nominee, he's given up a number of his deepest beliefs. He finally gave up on, for example, the Hyde Amendment, which blocks taxpayer money being used to pay for abortion, an amendment which has been now for 40 years a basic principle of the federal government. But he couldn't get to be the vice presidential nominee because the left wouldn't tolerate it. If he was even for the Hyde Amendment, because the left wants tax-paid abortions up to the day of birth. And so they want that extreme a position, and he caved on it. And he's caved again and again and again. And as a result, he was in a hopeless position. He didn't know what he was defending. On the other hand, Pence really understands, because he's worked directly with Trump, as I have, and he really understands that underneath all the noise, Donald Trump, the New York Times noise, the CBS News noise, the MSNBC noise, the Hillary Clinton campaign noise, under all that noise, there are a couple core facts. Donald Trump is a very smart businessman. He's created thousands and thousands of jobs. He's had bad years where he's lost $1 billion, and he's had great years where he earned $1 billion. And as a result, over time, he got to be worth something in the order of $10 billion. That's a fact. Donald Trump creates more jobs in a week than the Clintons have created in their entire lifetime. So when you talk about jobs, there's no question he's real. And Pence knows this, and Pence knows that the gap between a Trump presidency for the future of America, for the future of his children and grandchildren, and a Clinton presidency is night and day. And that's why Pence was so comfortable going into this debate. Now, I think it actually sets a pretty good stage for next Sunday night, which I'll be home. I'll be watching the debate, and I'm going to be on Sean Hannity at midnight, commenting on the debate. It's a very, very important debate, and I think that there's a very real likelihood that it could become the debate which defines the rest of the election. So I think that Mike Pence last night laid out a pretty darn good roadmap. I think it was a solid roadmap. I think all Republicans can build on it, and I think Donald Trump can build on it. So I hope you find this useful. Those are just my observations about where we are and what we need to be doing, and I look forward to reporting to you again.